Chosen one, this message did not land in your hands by chance. It was carefully placed here for you at this very moment in your life by a force greater than you can fully understand. Sometimes when life feels heavy and the road seems long, we forget the unseen eyes that are watching over our journey, the eyes of heaven, witnessing every silent struggle and every quiet victory. The universe aligns to bring you here now because God wants you to know. He is proud of you. He has seen the battles you fought when no one was watching, and He's preparing to honor your faithfulness in ways beyond your imagination. This isn't just another motivational message, it's a divine confirmation. If you've ever felt invisible, unheard, or overlooked, this is your moment of validation. You are a chosen soul walking a path paved with purpose and resilience. Your silent endurance has been recorded in the heavens, and your sacrifices haven't gone unnoticed. As you continue to watch this video, remember to like and subscribe to Awakened Era, because you are part of a community that understands your journey and uplifts your spirit. Have you ever experienced moments where you felt utterly alone, yet somehow carried on with hope? Share your story in the comments below. Your vulnerability can inspire others walking a similar path. Endurance is not always loud or visible. Sometimes it's the quiet decision to keep going when everything inside you screams to stop. Heaven saw those moments when you chose silence over conflict, patience over anger, and faith over despair. Maybe you stayed silent during painful conversations or endured loneliness in a crowded room. Those moments were your soul's training ground, teaching you strength, humility, and grace. Think about a time when you held back your emotions because you wanted to preserve peace or protect someone else's feelings. You might have thought no one noticed your sacrifice, but God was there, recording every tear and every unspoken prayer. Your endurance is a form of worship, a testimony of your unwavering spirit. If this resonates with you, hit the like button and let us know in the comments what silence has taught you on your journey. Sacrifice often looks like giving more than you feel you have, of time, energy, or love. You gave of yourself when you were already running on empty. Maybe you stayed up late to care for someone, gave financial help you couldn't afford, or chose to forgive when your heart was still hurting. These sacrifices, though invisible to many, carry immense weight in the spiritual realm. God honors the sacrifices made in secrecy because they reveal the purity of your heart. When no one else could see, heaven was recording your acts of kindness and faith. Those moments build your spiritual currency, preparing you for the blessings ahead. If you've made unseen sacrifices, drop a heart emoji in the comments and subscribe to Awakened Era for more uplifting messages like this. Tears are a language of the soul. When you cried in private, those tears weren't wasted or unnoticed. They were prayers in disguise, expressions of your pain, your hopes, and your yearning for breakthrough. Heaven saw every tear and understood the depth of your suffering, even when you felt unseen and unheard. Your tears have been part of your healing process. They washed away doubt and watered the seeds of your future victories. Remember, it's okay to cry. Vulnerability is a sign of strength, not weakness. If this message touches your heart, please like, subscribe, and share this video to remind others that their pain is seen and honored too. One of the hardest things is waiting, especially when you've given so much and faced so many challenges. But God's timing is perfect, and His honor will manifest in your life exactly when it's meant to. The reward for your faithfulness, patience, and obedience is coming. Think of a sunrise. It doesn't rush, yet its light eventually fills the entire sky. Your breakthrough is like that sunrise, inevitable and beautiful. Stay hopeful and keep your heart open. Obedience to God's call is often misunderstood because it doesn't always bring immediate rewards or recognition. Yet heaven sees your obedience and elevates you in spiritual realms beyond human understanding. Your commitment is creating ripples that influence your future and the lives of others. You may feel overlooked by the world, but the spiritual promotion you're receiving is real and powerful. When you follow divine instructions, you position yourself for unseen blessings and protection. Justice delayed does not mean justice denied. God is preparing to bring justice to your story, not always in the way the world expects, but in a way that restores and renews your soul. Those who wronged you, those who doubted your path, will see how heaven has been working on your behalf. Even when you felt overwhelmed by darkness, your light never went out. Heaven recognizes you as a beacon of hope in a world that sometimes feels hopeless. Your courage to keep shining, even through trials, inspires others more than you realize. Being a light means embracing your imperfections and still choosing love and kindness. It's a powerful testimony that your struggles have not defined you. No victory is too small to be celebrated in heaven. Every time you chose faith over fear, forgiveness over bitterness, hope over despair, heaven took note. Your victories are part of a divine story being written about you, a story of transformation and triumph. Recognizing your victories, big or small, fuels your spirit and reminds you that progress is happening, even if it's unseen. Take a moment now to reflect on a recent victory, no matter how small, and celebrate it. Chosen one, there were times you had no words left. You were too weary to pray, too broken to speak, too overwhelmed to explain your pain. But even in silence, your faith roared. Your mere decision to keep going, to wake up another day and believe when nothing made sense, was a declaration to heaven that you were still holding on. Faith isn't always loud. Sometimes it's a breath. Sometimes it's a glance toward the sky when all you have left are tears. But heaven heard that unspoken surrender. The realm of the Spirit doesn't need volume. It needs truth. And your truth was that even in silence, you trusted. Maybe people assumed you were fine because you didn't complain. Maybe they didn't know the storm inside you because you smiled through it. But God saw the depths, and now, because you chose belief when nothing looked like it was working, divine breakthrough is chasing you down. There's a certain pain that comes from watching others be celebrated while you're still in the shadows. You supported, clapped, encouraged others, yet your own life felt stuck. But what they didn't know, and what God did, was that you were being tested, quietly, deeply, constantly. While others were receiving, you were refining. While they were being seen, you were being strengthened. Your hidden tests were producing invisible muscles, endurance, wisdom, humility, and grace. You weren't being overlooked. You were being prepared. And now your public reward is coming because you passed private tests with excellence. It takes spiritual maturity to cheer for others while you're waiting, but you did it. You sowed honor in a season of lack, and now a harvest of recognition and favor is being released. What was delayed is now being delivered. What was tested is now being trusted. Chosen one, people didn't misunderstand you because you were confusing. They misunderstood you because your spirit was uncommon. You carry something rare, something heaven ordained, something not easily explained. That light inside you disrupted comfort zones, exposed fake energy, and challenged spirits that weren't ready for real. You may have been labeled too much, too deep, too intense. But in truth, you were too authentic for shallow waters. You weren't called to fit in. You were sent to shake atmospheres. Your presence carries weight, and that weight was never meant to be carried by small-minded approval. Even your silence speaks volumes. Your energy shifts rooms. Your discernment sees what others miss. That's why you were rejected. Not because you lacked value, but because they lacked vision. Now heaven is aligning you with those who recognize your anointing instead of resisting it. Let's talk about the kind of love you gave that cost you. You protected people who hurt you. You covered those who exposed you. You defended others' names while they were trying to ruin yours. That's not foolishness. That's divine mercy working through you. Heaven saw every bit of it. You didn't protect them because they deserved it. You did it because your spirit is pure. You live from a higher frequency, one that doesn't match petty energy. That love, that loyalty, that fierce covering you offered, it wasn't wasted, it was noted, and now God is sending people who will protect you with the same intensity. What they took for granted, God treasured. What they mocked, God multiplied. You're about to receive relationships, opportunities, and favor that reflect the same energy you gave out. Loyalty is returning to you in full. In a world obsessed with being right, you chose peace. You had every chance to defend yourself, to clap back, to expose lies, but you didn't. You walked away, held your tongue, and chose higher ground. That choice didn't go unnoticed. Heaven applauded it. Silence is not surrender, it's sacred strategy. By not stooping to their level, you elevated in the spirit. You allowed God to handle what ego wanted to fix. And now, vindication is coming, not through your words, but through God's undeniable hand over your life. Chosen one, you thought it was rejection, but it was protection. You thought it was a delay, but it was divine redirection. The things that didn't happen when you wanted weren't punishments, they were shields. Heaven blocked what would have broken you, and in doing so, preserved your promise. Sometimes you begged for doors to open, only to hear silence. You didn't know that behind those closed doors were traps, betrayals, and burdens you weren't meant to carry. God saw what you couldn't, and in His mercy, He said, "Not yet." Not to punish, but to prepare you. That job you didn't get, that relationship that fell apart, that opportunity that ghosted you, those were divine edits to your life script. The delay wasn't denial, it was design. Now you're being aligned with what is for you, and it's better than you imagined. There's something sacred about silent building. While others were shouting about their moves, their wins, their lifestyles, you were building in the quiet. You weren't seeking clout, you were seeking alignment. And because of that, your foundation is solid. What you're about to reveal will speak louder than their boasts ever could. While they were busy performing, you were preparing. While they flaunted highlights, you faced your shadows. That internal work, the refining in secret, is the reason God is now trusting you with influence and expansion. What took others' noise to build will take you peace to sustain. You didn't need validation to know your worth. You didn't need applause to believe in your purpose. Your journey was rooted, not rushed. Now, as heaven begins to elevate you publicly, the world will be stunned, not by your arrival, but by the depth you carry. You didn't just survive, you transformed. You didn't have a loving parent, you became one. You weren't supported, you became the support system. You didn't get the healing words you needed, you spoke them over others. Chosen one, you became the very thing you were denied, and heaven saw every bit of it. That kind of spiritual evolution doesn't happen by accident. It takes pain, reflection, and a decision to break cycles instead of repeat them. Your ability to give love, safety, wisdom, and protection to others, even though you never received it, is evidence of divine DNA running through your spirit. You could have repeated the hurt. You could have passed on the dysfunction, but you chose differently. You chose to heal, to grow, to change the pattern. Not just for you, but for everyone connected to your legacy. That selfless transformation is the kind that shifts bloodlines. You've accomplished more than people realize. You've survived more than they can imagine. And yet, you remained humble. You didn't throw your pain in people's faces. You didn't use your trauma as leverage. You didn't demand attention. You simply kept going, quietly, powerfully. Humility isn't weakness. It's spiritual strength. It's the ability to carry power without using it to crush others. You could have flexed, could have boasted, could have demanded recognition, but you didn't. And that restraint is why heaven is exalting you now. The last will be first. And your turn is here. When God elevates someone who remained humble, it's loud. It's undeniable. Because the world saw you bow, and now they'll watch you rise. That rise will be so divine, so ordained, that it won't require announcements. It will announce itself. Here's the truth. Some of your biggest victories weren't on display. They weren't posted. They weren't celebrated, but they were powerful. You passed tests no one even knew you were taking. Spiritual tests, emotional tests, tests of loyalty, purity, and character. And heaven graded them all. With distinction, you said no when temptation whispered yes. You stayed when everything in you wanted to leave. You honored people who didn't deserve it. You walked away from environments that didn't nurture your soul, not out of pride, but out of protection. And that kind of discernment, that kind of obedience, it's priceless. No one applauded, no one clapped, but God took note. The realms you just ascended in spiritually cannot be undone. You passed the kind of tests that determine your next level. Chosen one, let this truth settle into your spirit. You didn't go unnoticed. You didn't suffer in vain. You didn't obey for nothing. Heaven recorded every tear, every sacrifice, every moment of restraint and resolve. And now what was once hidden is about to be revealed in ways that silence every doubt and confirm every whisper from God you held on to. The elevation you're about to walk into isn't random. It's a divine response to everything you've endured, everything you've done in secret, and everything you refused to compromise. You are living proof that obedience, faithfulness, and authenticity matter, even when no one is watching. Don't forget, like this video, subscribe to Awakened Era, and share it with someone who needs divine confirmation.